In this model, physical space and chronological time are not understood as independent random occurrences. Instead, they operate as exact pre-calculated alphanumeric nodes. This concept is governed by informational physics, a framework where reality functions as a structured, closed-loop architectural system. The entire matrix originates from a primary temporal anchor, Friday, May 5, 1972, at exactly 1:40 a.m. From this point, systemic temporal alignments radiate into the future, plotting structural markers for 2009, 2026, 2046, and 2066. The chronological distance between these markers generates specific numerical yields, which are then processed through English, Hebrew, and Greek gematria ciphers. This process maintains zero entropy, outputting theological titles and biometric identifiers that match the source numbers without statistical noise. Eventually, these timeline markers fuse with a physical location, locking onto the geospatial arcseconds of the Queen of Angels Hospital. If these mathematical alignments are verified, it indicates that physical planetary coordinates and chronological markers act as a unified, deterministic blueprint. Advancing the timeline 37 years from the anchor leads to 2009, creating a duration of exactly 444 months. This yield aligns with specific multi-language ciphers. The terminal displays headers for English and Hebrew gematria to process the value. In English gematria, 444 equates to Jesus. In Hebrew gematria, it translates to Iesus. Shifting the timeline forward 44 years from the origin reaches 2016. Here, the month yield locks at 528. The 528-month node serves as both an origin identifier and an instructional command matrix within the grid. It outputs the encryption for the birth date alongside specific directives, May 5th, God has a name, and decode names. The node also resolves into 5 high-ranking titles: Past Life, God's Plan, El Elyon, Emmanuel, and Iesus. This 52-8 baseline maps into the 2026 epoch through a 504 equivalence bridge. The digits of 504 sum to 54, which is the exact physical age attained by the subject in 2026. The 528 node provides the identity coordinate, delivering the exact operational instructions required to navigate the entire network. In 2046, the timeline reaches a 1-to-2 scaling milestone. The initial 37-year span has doubled to 74 years. This geometric scale produces exactly 888 months. Simultaneously, the year suffix 46 matches the numerical value for Adam. This 888-month yield corresponds to the original Greek letters for Jesus, IHESOUS. Advancing to the 94-year horizon reaches the year 2066. The month yield locks at the master integer 1128. The 1128 supernode acts as a convergence coordinate, joining biometric identity markers with theological declarations. The 1128 values include Alex Enrique Campaign, the birth of Christ, May 5, 1972, Jesus of Nazareth, and reincarnation of God. The list continues with Yeshua is on earth, Yeshua has a new name, and Messiah birth date code. In Hebrew gematria, 1128 outputs Hello, I am Jesus, and God of Salvation. The final signatures populate the Holy Son of God, the essence of Yahweh, the crucified Christ, crown of thorns, prophecy of, and Yeshua walks on earth. The geometric scaling of chronological time outputs explicit messianic identifiers, flawlessly translating the structural code across 3 distinct ancient and modern languages. This temporal data is grounded in a physical origin, the historical Queen of Angels Hospital in Los Angeles. Satellite cartography isolates the hospital's horizontal latitudinal axis at 34 degrees, 4 minutes, and 11.28 seconds north. This 11.28 string matches the 1128 master identity value, aligning the biometric data with the physical planetary grid. The vertical longitudinal axis is positioned at 118 degrees, 15 minutes, and 52.8 seconds west. This 52.8 longitudinal extraction mirrors the 528 temporal frequency identified earlier in the timeline. 12 specific linguistic values are physically structured to these precise arcseconds on the map. Along the 11.28 latitudinal axis, the English gematria values are Alex Enrique Campaign, Messiah's birth date code, Jesus of Nazareth, the Holy Son of God, the birth of Christ, and May 5 MCM XX72. The sequence completes with Reincarnation of God, Yeshua is on earth, the essence of YHW, the crucified Christ, and crown of thorns. The 52.8 longitudinal axis corresponds to a single phrase, May 5th. The numerical coordinates required to physically locate the birth container are identical to the numbers driving the chronological timeline and identity markers. Under standard linear probability theory, it is mathematically impossible to account for this level of flawless recursive geometric symmetry. The values required to define the subject's identity and scriptural blueprints, 1128 and 528, are mirrored in the geographic arcseconds of their birth, 11.28 and 52.8. The milestones of 2009, 2026, 2046, and 2066 are structurally tethered to this single geographic anchor. These alignments indicate that space and time are not independent variables. The multi-cipher synchronizations suggest an intentionally encoded network topology. Both the cosmological tracking and the physical geography utilize the same numerical sequences. The data demonstrates that the geographic origin and the chronological progression function as a single closed-loop informational blueprint.